Unlike most of our videos where we typically take on subjects that don't really matter, this is a super serious subject that we both wanted to address. And that's about how Maz from the new Star Wars sequel movies is the absolute worst.
And we have some reasons why, so here we go.
So let's start with the very first movie that we see her in, The Force Awakens. So one of the main characteristics of Maz Kanata is that she doesn't help anyone.
She's very selfish.
Case number one, she doesn't help Han Solo at all.
Yeah, Han Solo straight up asks her, can you do this big favor for me? And she just goes, no. Even though Han Solo seems like he knows her well, seems like they're friends, but she just refuses to help him.
And that was the only reason that they went to the planet in the first place, was to get her help, which she didn't give.
And so that Rey could see green. Also, she splits up Finn and Rey. She says, okay, Finn, you can go with these weirdos over here who are going to take you someplace. Also seems very unsafe. Yeah, Finn, go with these, like, strange men who are going to take you somewhere that I don't know. That's creepy.
The important thing is that she split Rey and Finn up. And even after she said, oh, this is the one fight that matters, as soon as Finn is just like, we are all gonna die, she's like, yeah, okay.
So when she splits up Finn and Rey, that causes a ton of other problems in the movie because they can't just go blow up the Star Killer base. They have to go save Rey first. And that then causes Han Solo's death. And so technically it's Maz's fault that Han Solo is dead because she split up Finn and Rey.
I demand justice for Kylo. He did nothing wrong.
Okay.
Maz is the only villain in the entire movie. Snoke didn't even do anything.
He got chopped in half.
Later. So in Maz's creepy old basement, where Rey has her Force vision when she touches the lightsaber, who's to say that it wasn't Maz who gave Rey the creepy Force vision?
And that's more evidence where she's driving Finn and Rey apart, where she makes Rey go out on her little, like, solo journey into the woods.
Because she scared Rey away, Rey got captured by Kylo Ren, which led to
Han Solo's death. Rude. Straight up. Alright, so, Maz is kind of creepy, has a lot of stuff. You'd think that she probably has weaponry around, right? And later on, in The Last Jedi, which we'll get to, she's using blasters and stuff like that. So she has weapons around,
she's resourceful.
Right? But the weapon she gives Finn is a lightsaber. He doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. Like, he's kind of out of control with this, and then that guy comes up with the little... Maz tried to kill Finn by giving him this crazy powerful weapon that he didn't know how to use and didn't know how to wield properly. Maz also completely ruins Han Solo's character by making him say the worst line in all of Star Wars, which is... Han Solo!
Oh boy. Hey, Maz.
This is the worst line in all of Star Wars, and there are quite a few terrible lines that it's competing with, but Hey Maz is still the worst one.
Hey Maz takes the cake.
Poop cake.
Nobody wants that cake.
If you're like a fly.
I don't think any flies are watching this.
That's my target audience. Dang it.
No wonder we're not getting the views.
Dang it.
So this reason is really like the core reason why I think that Maz is just the worst. If she's an actual ally to the Resistance, then why is she keeping Luke Skywalker's lightsaber a secret from everyone, including Han Solo? Why be so cryptic about when you're giving this lightsaber to these people? Why not tell them the whole story? Maz is all like, that is a great story for another time. Now you listen here, you little peach cobbler. I'm about to die because my son's about to kill me in the next little bit. So if you don't tell me right now, I'm never gonna find out.
Maz is also a pathological liar. When Han Solo first gets there, she asks, where's my boyfriend? Referring to Chewbacca, right? Chewbacca has a wife and child. We saw them in the holiday special. So either Maz is lying and harassing Chewbacca, or she's Chewbacca's mistress. Either way, I'm not inviting her to my Life Day celebration. A day we all can share. Maz is also very narcissistic. Alright, so when we first see Maz's cantina, pub, whatever you want to call it, there's this giant statue of her at the beginning. So narcissistic that she builds this entire giant statue of herself. Who else do we know that has built a giant statue of themselves? Ramesses from Prince of Egypt.
Alright, now let's dive into The Last Jedi.
In The Last Jedi, when Poe and Finn call Maz for help, which, by the way, is weird because Poe doesn't even know Maz. As far as we know, he's never met her, and he's like, yeah, let's call her. If Finn says, oh yeah, I know this weird old dried up apricot that we can call to help us beat the First Order, and then Poe's just like, this is a great idea.
I think it would have been better if they actually did call an old apricot. Maybe that would have been more helpful than calling Maz.
It would have saved them a lot of trouble.
So also it's weird that they called Maz in the first place because Finn literally met her for 5 minutes. He in no way learned that she was some master code breaker or could do this impossible thing for them. C-3PO would have been a better person to be able to like hack into the system.
Yeah, like on Lego Star Wars, the video game, you always use C-3PO or R2-D2. They can open all the doors. I feel like the Lego Star Wars video games are definitely canon.
Oh yeah.
We can base theories off of those. So they call Maz and they say, hey, can you help us with this giant problem? The Resistance is dying. The First Order is about to take us down. And Maz is like, nah, man, I got a union dispute to deal with. That is not nearly as important as the fate of the entire galaxy. Like, Maz, your whole planet and everyone at the freaking union dispute can get blown up by the First Order in 2 seconds, and yet you're still putting that, like, little problem in front of this entire saving the galaxy problem. It seems a little selfish and stupid. Also, the fact that there's this huge union dispute going on shows that she's a bad employer. If her employees are resorting to physical violence because of like lack of being treated well or lack of payment, that's a problem. Maz is a bad employer.
I think we can all agree that the worst part about the entire Last Jedi movie was Rose and Finn's side story quest, when they have their weird adventure off on their own. The only reason they went there was because Maz sent them there, and it didn't end up working out anyways, so it was a complete waste of time.
So that kind of sums up her role in Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
So now we have a theory that Maz is actually a villain in the Star Wars movies. What? Maz wins if both the Resistance and the First Order destroy each other.
So she can't face up herself against Snoke or Luke, but she can mess with everyone's plans to make them both weaker.
At Maz's castle, we see that there are both Resistance supporters, but also First Order supporters. If we're to believe that she's some sort of neutral territory, then why are people going to her for help? So there's a line that Maz has in The Force Awakens where she says, I am no Jedi, but I know the Force. So now we know she is no Jedi, but what other group uses the Force, has a vast knowledge of the Force, and oftentimes lies?
The Sith!
So what if Maz is actually Darth Maz? And like we were talking about with the worst scene in The Last Jedi, which was the whole casino planet, she set up Finn and Rose to fail. She sent them on a suicide mission knowing that they were probably going to die or mess up in the process. And all she was doing was trying to give them false hope that they would be able to succeed.
But it wasn't a complete failure because they did get to save a space horse bunny thing.
Because that's what all Star Wars fans are rooting for. The horse bunnies.
The horse bunnies!
And remember what we said about her being a bad employer? Who else in Star Wars was a bad employer?
Alright, so there you have it. Maz is a Sith and is also the worst, and we will see what Rise of Skywalker brings.
I think they're going to replace Maz with the Emperor, which I think is a bold move by J.J. Abrams, who established our main villain as Maz. But, you know, Maz is just the worst. That's all I can say.
Baby just kicked me.
Oh, Star Wars is fiction.
Beep, beep, beep.
Like the character, not just the character. Okay.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Hey, where's the clap girl?
I didn't clap before!
We're screwed! That really, truly exemplifies.
You were so close. Hey, Mouse!
That got a little passionate. Sorry, guys.
Keep it G-rated. Think
And
about
then-
Maz before you drink, and then you'll black out.
I think that all the Star Wars movies are actually not canon, because Lego Star Wars is canon.
Right, because Yoda can fall off of cliffs and go, "Ah!"
Ah. Using your head.
Nose. Ow!
I am no Jedi, but I know the Force.
Dun, dun, dun.
But this old rust bucket of a droid makes R2-D2 look like Channing Tatum.
So that kind of sums up.
Sorry.
Thanks, Yoda.
Ah!